Trust is hard to get back. You got to have integrity in your relationships. You got to have integrity at work. You got to have integrity in real life. Because once you break that trust, it is hard to get it back if you ever do get it back. So this woman posted just here recently. I grabbed this fresh off the press. She says, "Am I the a-hole for telling my husband I am going back on our agreement and I don't care if he cries about it?" When women post in these "Am I the a-hole" posts, subreddits, they're simply looking for validation for feeling normal human emotions. But let's go ahead and check out her post. She says, "My husband and I, both 32, have been together since we were 19. Our entire relationship feels like it just blew up in my face, basically, and I can't tell if I am overreacting. So we both wanted one child, and we have planned this for years. We wanted everything perfect first: the home, the careers, the savings, the investments, the nest egg, etc., etc., etc. Because we both knew from early on that once we had a baby, I would be staying home full time and raising our child. His brother's life was unfortunately cut short by a daycare worker when he was just 5 months old, back in 2017. So daycare wasn't an option, basically, and we need to make sure our ducks were in a row so I could stay home and be a full-time parent. 2 years ago, we were sitting on $500,000 in investments and a few nest eggs and different types of savings and bonds accounts. We bought the house, even bought a damn boat. Everything we planned for fell into place, finally, and we started trying for a baby. We now have a perfect 4-week-old daughter. I have been out of work since I was 5 months pregnant due to placenta abruption, but otherwise everything went fine. She's perfectly healthy, was a good weight, and I bounced back from the delivery fairly quickly because of how much of a support system my husband was. He did more than his fair share while still working full time, which is partially why I cannot tell if I'm being dramatic or if this is hormones or postpartum depression or whatever. Like, I am legitimately livid. So basically, earlier this afternoon, I get a phone call from DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services, to go over health insurance options and whether or not the baby is eligible for state insurance based off our income. I had already given DHHS all of our info, social security numbers, date of birth, etc., etc. When they called yesterday and was just waiting for all our info and assets to be pulled. Anyways, she calls and says we aren't eligible because my husband makes too much money and we will need to add her to our private insurance. Absolutely no problem at all. I kind of figured that anyways. But then she offhandedly mentions that my husband is making $10,920 a month, monthly gross, and that the cutoff for state insurance is $7,830 monthly gross. Well, here's the issue. For months, my husband has been telling me that he only makes $6,000 a month after taxes. So I get off the phone and I log into my husband's computer and into his banking. And sure enough, his monthly take home is bordering around $8,500. He is transferring everything over $6,000 into an account I didn't even know existed. So I call him out on it, and he breaks down and tells me that he just wanted something that was only his. Please keep in mind that all of my money has always gone into our joint account that he uses on a daily basis. So he's hiding money from me so that he can have his own money while plugging away at mine. Over $45,000 he has sitting in that account, while telling me last week that we couldn't have steak for dinner because spending $38 on 2 steaks was a waste of money. So I told him that I'm putting the baby in daycare and going back to work because obviously I need to safeguard myself if he is hiding away money. Something feels off about it. I don't know. He instantly started crying. See above, the daycare trauma. But I truly just don't trust him financially anymore. I no longer feel secure here. I said I changed my mind and I don't care if he cries about it. Am I the a-hole? And to that, I say no. I say no because he had no issue with trying to make sure that he was protected. And in this case, the fact that she's a stay-at-home mother means that she needs to protect herself. She knows that he has absolutely no issue with making sure that his neck is protected. So she needs to look out for her own. Even in their relationship right now, she thought that she was being supported, but she's seeing that is all people out for themselves. You got to get yours. I got to get mine. I got to get mine. Homeboy, you got to get yours. It's basically what they're both saying. And all of this happened simply because, even though they had this money, he has a nice income coming in, but he just had to be just a little bit deceitful. This is, I'm not going to go so far as to say financial abuse because I don't know if she felt like she's being abused. But the thing is, he's lying by omission. The other day, I told y'all, if you follow me a lot, I told y'all that one of the things that women say, the whole manipulation tactics and lying by omission, it's a big thing. Not having integrity, and she's out on this limb. When you are a stay-at-home mother, that brings risk. It is risky to do that. So you have to really put your trust in that person that they are going to take care of everything and take care of you. And now she knows that she got to take care of herself. So absolutely, she is not the a-hole. So let's check out some of these comments. Nobody but my shadow red says not the a-hole. It appears to me that he has already gone back on your agreement by deceiving you about his finances. If he wanted something that was his, you could have agreed to have separate personal accounts as well as joint accounts that fund your regular expenses. Why didn't it occur to him that you might want something that was just yours? I wouldn't trust him either. With that kind of money, if he doesn't want your child in daycare, perhaps he should pay out of his funds that he has been hiding whatever the extra would be for a nanny. Scarf Knitter says if he doesn't want the kid in daycare, $45,000 is a good start on a nanny. So, okay, Breadfruit says the better question is, why are you still married to a liar? And then she says, it literally just happened today. Divorce doesn't happen in a few hours. KLG says, I'm so sorry. You certainly don't deserve to have to deal with this after just giving birth. And you aren't going back on any agreement. He torched any agreement when he started hiding money. And then at the bottom, Don't Touch Mia says, luckily, even hidden money is a marital asset. So last week, I do recognize that we were talking about a stay-at-home mom that was pulling money out of a joint account to have in an individual account. And I do know that some people will listen to these two conversations and wonder why the double standard. Why the double standard is because when you're a stay-at-home mother, we're just trying to make sure that stay-at-home mothers have a game plan just in case, because you never know. And in that particular case, just as soon as her husband found out, he became abusive emotionally. He started hollering at her. He started calling her names. And it should have clicked in her head at that particular time that, yes, now I know that I have nothing to bounce back on. I have nothing in the form of an emergency, so I can never get away. This man just wanted some extra money. So there is a difference to me that I see, but I do recognize that if you think that there is a double standard, I'm okay with that, because when you're a stay-at-home mother, you do need that emergency fund. If you're working already, you have all of this money. He's just wanting to be he's just wanting to be greedy. That's the differences that I see. But like I said, I am perfectly fine if you call me out on having double standards as far as these two situations go. All right, so we're getting a little bit more background information here. Dirty Dragon Dan says, hi, OP. Clarification, timeline info. His brother's life was unfortunately cut short by a daycare worker when he was just 5 months old back in 2017. Is this meaning that your hubby had a sibling 23 years younger than him who as an infant passed away in 2017 when husband was around 24-ish, or something else? I just wasn't sure I am following. Also, you have every right to question honesty, trustworthiness with him, and he has basically no moral leg to stand on for his deception. And you can and should exercise any path forward that you judge to be suitable. Go enjoy a steak too. So the OP responds, yes, that is correct. His father remarried a much younger woman in 2016, and they had a baby a year later. Unfortunately, that is the baby that was taken too soon. And by the way, I got my damn steak on the way home from baby's doctor's appointment today too. Furious Marshmallow says, yes, girl, you eat all that steak. Husband can have his cheap ass meat. And then Revolutionary Rap says, especially after just giving birth a month ago, her body is craving that red meat, I'm sure. We'll just end with this one. Snack Powered Human says, info, how on earth was he hiding money when you could just log into his account and see everything? How did you log into his account? Most use some form of 2FA these days, or two-factor accounts. I think that's the A. And then she says, I have never felt a reason to log into his account at all. I had trust. And very easily, actually. Went to his computer, typed in his info, and bada bing, bada boom. He must not have 2FA. There isn't one on our joint account either. And that's the thing. So she was able to get in. She sees that he's hiding money. Now the trust is gone. Now she's about to start making plans, because this woman is a planner. The fact that they had so much money in, their nest egg, they planned the house, they got a boat, they got all this. This woman, this couple, they are some planners. So she's going to create a game plan. She's not going to just let this man do this to her. She's going to make sure that she protects her neck. All right, y'all, I'm going to end it there. Y'all join the conversation. Let me know what you think about all this. Is she wrong? Do you think that there's a double standard? I do want you to chime in. I follow this woman named Antoinette on Threads. I just found her a few weeks ago. So when she's talking about these exchanges that she's having with men, it speaks to boundaries, and it speaks to being assertive. So here's an exchange. She says, him, I want to take you out. Let me know your availability this week. She says, me, I'm walking into a meeting. Look for it within the hour. So look for her availability. She'll text him within the hour. And then she sends it 45 minutes later. Him, 2 days and crickets. So he was silent for 2 days. And then he pops up again. She says, him, I'm ready to talk plans. Had to make you wait a bit so you know what to expect, little miss. I'm walking into a meeting, LOL. She says, me, I'm walking into an era where I go elsewhere when someone offers me dog food and dumb stuff. Expect to never have access to me again, little miss ninja. I am here for it. Don't make someone wait simply because you're playing games. This is one of the things that I was talking about a few days ago or a couple of weeks ago, where women are tired of the manipulation tactics. There was nothing manipulative about the fact that she had a meeting to walk into, but the fact that he decided to do that whole make you wait thing. He was trying to manipulate the situation. He wasn't being open and honest with his intention. This man wanted to take her out, and instead of just responding when she had some availability, he decided to make her wait on purpose. People are tired. Women are tired of these stupid games. Stop being manipulative. Stop lying by omission. Just be regular. What is wrong with these people? And then she gives us this picture. It says the invitation is rescinded. Now she has absolutely no availability for this man. So she starts conversations, and then other women chime in. I Make Your Day says men will snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Black Marriage Movement says, I mean, like, really, wow. The Shannon Whaley says, these males are playing hard to get when they are actually really hard to want. And then Wicked Wisdom says, hard to tolerate. This woman named What Carmen Said says, another one. Him, you working today? Me, yeah, I'm off at 5. Him, you working tomorrow? Me, I work Monday through Friday until 5. Him, see you always busy and me, what's wrong with 6 p.m.? Him, I'ma let you know. So MF, what am I supposed to do? Quit my job to date you? And then Ray says, sounds like his wife works 9 to 5 as well. So that's the thing. Why the heck is he so free during working hours? Why? And why do they have such an issue with boundaries? She's free after 5. Well, free after 6 because she has to get a chance to go home and freshen up or relax or whatever. Give her some time. Why isn't being available after 6 or on the weekends good enough? Probably because, like Ray says, he has a wife. Juicy Red says he ain't busy enough. And Self-Esteem says, and what exactly is he doing during those normal workday or weekday hours if he is fully available? Because if he's not busy and you quit your job, so you're also not busy, who gonna pay for the date? These men are literally newborns asking for the tit every 2 hours. Megs Bakes and Books is talking to Antoinette with this one. She says, so you know what to expect because that showed us to expect childish games and punishments if we don't adhere to your timeline. No, sir, not in this economy. Dragonfly 808 says, he just told you he'll punish you for any boundary. And Antoinette says, correct. Risk It for the Bisque says, and you didn't even set a boundary. Imagine that. He will punish you for every and anything, not just a boundary. Sickening. They aren't lonely enough. They aren't lonely enough. Women are saying this all over the place. Not just me, women in random places, because I don't even follow that woman. Shay says, the math don't math. You made him wait 45 minutes, so he had to make you wait 2 days. This is why I fail at man math. And then Antoinette says, I don't even think the 45 minutes was the problem specifically. Pretty sure it pissed him off that I didn't engage right then and be hype that he wanted to take me out. Just Jazzy B says, pickings are slim out here due to dumb individuals like this. The fact he did that says a lot about him. You dodged a huge bullet. I get aggravated every time my family asks me if I'm dating anyone. Dad. How's dating life? Me. Dad, have you seen what a majority of the men are outside? Him. This emoji face is what she does. Me. Shows a few texts. Him. I understand. Just TM says, ooh, I have a better one for you. Him. I want to take you out. What kind of cuisine do you like? Me. Cool. What's the plan? Him. Ooh, I know this bomb Thai spot. Me. Oh, I'm not a huge fan of Thai food. I'm allergic to peanuts. You get the drift. So my choices are limited. Him, oh man, okay. Me, what about this place? It's new and I've heard great things. Him, damn, I really wanted to take you to this Thai spot. Me, great. So you want to unalive me. Are you not listening? What's not clicking? So regardless of the fact that she's allergic to peanuts and she expressly says, I'm allergic to peanuts. Can we do something else? And gives offerings. What about this place? It's new and I've heard great things. He's still focused on Ty. So he doesn't care about her boundaries or her health. Some of these dudes out here really have got to start listening and appreciating women for being human beings because some of these human women want to live. Have a sense of self-preservation and block some of these dudes that don't give a damn if you live or die. Then we have Shay, who read the exact same thing and still said this. Shay says, am I the only one who thinks that both of you don't really listen? Why did you bypass his question of what kind of foods that you like so he could perhaps gauge where to take you? And to that, Just TM says, I bypassed that in the text, but definitely told him which food. I'm very clear. I told him he brought up the Thai place several times. Britt at the bottom says, had a guy my senior year of college send me a bouquet of chocolate roses and get upset when he came to my apartment a week later when they weren't eaten. I'm allergic to chocolate, not life-ending, but I break out into full body hives. I mean, if she told him this and he sent chocolate, then that's on him. But also, if he doesn't accept this as an explanation and still stays upset, then that's also silly. Is it a humiliation ritual? Is it some kind of ritual where you need to self-harm in order to connect with these people? I do not know. So we had that woman read that and come up with the comment that she did. Now we have a man, Stumpy the Paladin. He says, am I reading that wrong? The answer is yes. Am I reading that wrong? He tells you he wants a date. He asks you when a good time for you would be. You tell him you're going into a meeting and that you would get back to him. And you gave him 2 days of crickets. Why are you mad? So coming back to, am I reading that wrong? The answer is absolutely yes. He did not read that correctly at all. Antoinette says, you almost had it. I gave him my schedule. He gave me silence. I wasn't mad at all. All right, then Stumpy says, my mistake. Although, if I get confused from the TLDR version of what happened this easily, and then he does this little hand emoji, I'm guessing that if they miscommunicate so hard, it nips everything in the bud. Then everyone involved wins a trophy. But the thing is, her exchange wasn't even that long. The fact that Stumpy got confused over a post that was this long really speaks to him, and the fact that many of them simply cannot read for comprehension. And then Britt says, two things you're actively overlooking, which isn't surprising. One, she responded back as soon as she got out of the meeting. Two, he didn't respond for 2 days to teach her a lesson. And then she gives him a screenshot. It's like these people don't want to read and they don't want to communicate well. They simply want to be in control. This is the reason why many of them deserve to be alone. They deserve to be lonelier because they think that these stupid games are fun, I guess. Teaching a woman a lesson, making her want to engage even more. Women of right now are not playing games with these dumb McGrums. They're simply not. Leave women alone if you need to play stupid games. Get a board game or stay on your Xbox. All right, y'all. I will end it there. Y'all let me know what you think about this exchange. All right, we're going to go ahead and start out with it's a hobosexual alert. I feel like this is a hobo based on this title alone. She says, is it selfish to refuse cohabitation? She posts this in the No Stupid Questions subreddit. So she says, they're both 50s. They're both in their 50s. She says, hello, everyone. I am hoping for some outside perspective on a major relationship conflict with my boyfriend. We have been dating for about 2 years. My situation is very stable. I have a good job, substantial savings, good pension, and I am actively preparing for retirement. My house is fully paid off. My son is moving out for college in about a year, after which I will officially be an empty nester. My boyfriend's situation is much less stable. He currently rents, has virtually no retirement savings, no pension, and his job requires intense physical labor, which means his career longevity is uncertain. He doesn't have any plan to prepare for retirement. Our relationship is good and fun. My boyfriend is a very kind partner. However, he has some controlling/obsessive tendencies and always needs to know where I am. I suspect this is part of why he is pushing for us to live together eventually. Nah, he's pushing to live together eventually because your house is paid off, you have a substantial savings, and a good pension. You sound like a perfect person to latch onto. I have been single and living independently for over a decade, and I value my space immensely. I am very comfortable and secure in my current setup. I am perfectly happy with our current arrangement where we maintain separate living spaces and enjoy each other's company on dates and weekends. My questions to the community. Am I being too selfish by prioritizing my independence, my comfort, and my hard-earned financial stability over his desire for cohabitation? If I know I can never commit to merging finances or living spaces, is it fairer to him to break up now? Are there many older couples dating over 50 who choose to happily date and maintain separate households, or am I asking for too much? This community is for curiosity, not karma farming. I absolutely believe that she will be happier to just live separately. This dude sees the he's doing his hands like Birdman. He sees the perfect setup. He sees that that her child is about to move out to college. She got all this space. Why not let me come in? Ooh. He is licking his chops. Financially dependent, home probably clean and comfy. He is ready to pick up his trash bag and move on in, put his feet up, burrow into her couch, eat her soup, use her Wi-Fi. And to that, I say absolutely not. She does need to value, what she say, her independence and her comfort and her hard-earned. She did this herself, and he is looking to colonize her hard-earned financial stability. And to that, I say nay, I say. All right, let's check out some of the comments. Bacon Lad says, I don't believe you're being selfish. I think you're being sensible. After my divorce, I have lived alone for over 20 years and prefer to living with someone else. My girlfriend of 8 years agrees, as she is also secure in her own place and prefers to live alone. To be honest, I would be worried about someone who was not financially set up for retirement, who is also pushing to move in with you. And to that, King Volcano says that is talking about someone pushing to move in. That is a pretty big red flag, in my honest opinion. If he moves in, you're never going to be able to get rid of him. I agree. He is going to burrow. It's going to be an infestation. Just don't even let him. Stiletto Panda agrees, saying, evicting an ex is a nightmare I wish on no one, except maybe the ex I had to evict. Ha ha ha. Lemon Cake says, the fact that he always wants to know where she is another huge red flag. This could lead to an abusive situation. He may be so afraid of losing his meal ticket and home that he becomes abusive, isolates her from her support system, and controls who she's allowed to see. Awkward Plankton says 100,000%. Rad Throwaway says, yes, under no circumstances should this man move in. Even in an emergency, he can figure something else out. All right, so then Competitive Crow says, in my opinion, you said it all right here. Been there, done that, kicked him to the curb and never looked back. Clue Environmental says, yeah, he's definitely probably an abuser. This is classic. Find a well-off woman to abuse and control everything, including her money. Big score for him. Run while you still can. That's the thing. He sees dollar signs. He sees stability. He sees a nice, warm, comfy couch. Oh, yes. And she better protect herself. Zealous Ideal says this is the number one concern. The rest doesn't even matter because of this one glaring red flag. Now, this at the bottom. Manic Pixie says, yep, she's got a proto-hobosexual. So y'all had to see this because Manic Pixie Attorney says proto-hobosexual, and Got Wood went and looked that up. I didn't know you could look that up, but okay. So proto-hobosexual, the early stage or not quite there yet version, someone who isn't fully hobosexual. They still have their own place, a job, or some money, but they're clearly on the trajectory. They're starting to date way above their financial league, dropping hints about how expensive rent is, temporarily crashing at their partner's place for weeks, always letting the other person pay, etc. Think of it as homosexual behavior in its larval stage. He has a job in his own apartment, but sometimes never has money for dates and keeps leaving his toothbrush at her place after the third date. Classic proto-hobosexual. There is a whole definition for it. Go ahead, take a screenshot. Actually, I might have to take a screenshot and post this somewhere because that alone is amazing. Rad Throwaway says, ooh, this was my ex. It got really bad eventually, super manipulative, and now I have a lot more trauma around money. Populares says, so it's wrong for men to date women that make more money than them, can't date out of their place. And then Plain Inflation says, absolutely, they will ruin your life because they will resent you for being what they could never be. And the thing is like these men can want to date above their league, but women need to know and understand that these dudes are colonizers and vampires. They're parasites. They want to attach and suck her time, energy, and hard-earned resources, her stability, everything that she built. They want to suck it off of her. Manic Pixie Attorney says it's wrong for men to latch onto women and leech off of them. Same for women, but women are more likely to provide services in exchange for a room and board, as we are socialized to serve. And that is absolutely true. A woman will, regardless of how much money a woman makes, she's probably going to do things that add benefits to a man's life. So let's not be obtuse about this. These dudes who don't have a lot of money, they will sit there and eat up all your food. They will eat extra food just to continue to be gluttonous. And then they will play video games and not clean up and throw their food stuff all around and just leave stuff there. Let's be effing for real. Random old fella says, love the term, wish I had known about it years ago. I took in a proto-homosexual. Cost me $1 million in the end. Oh my goodness. They turned into a homeowner. Oh wow. Frosty Dip Fry says, was laughing about this earlier with my friend. I said, it's getting cold outside, ladies. Watch out. Yes, please watch out. Know that they have a game plan. They do plan on leaving things here and there. They plan on leaving their Xbox once it starts to get really real. Their one or two of their pairs of shoes, and then you know that they are in there. And then plus Ed at the bottom says he's planning for retirement, just not in the way you have. He wants to be taken care of. Yes, dude is a red flag. Leave this person alone. Join the conversation, y'all. You let me know what you think. I have a feeling though, if you're in my community, you probably are on the same page and understand and recognize the red flags.
If you'd like to establish dominance over a man, you ask his name. What's your name? Michael, he says. Okay, thanks, Mitchell. You respond. There goes his ego.